Okay, so this slide is a slide about what we think makes us special. And I'm going to talk about all of these topics, and one is our experience. This is our financial line, which is the GPAP, the Success Guarantee Program, and there's a company called Apex MD that I'm going to talk about. Our in-house egg donors, surrogates, PGS, HIV, the doctors, how we work as a team, embryo donation, we do something called compassionate transfer, embryology, and San Diego, okay? All right, so experience. So I mentioned this a little at the initial remarks that in 2014 we did 1,060 cycles, of which 64% were egg donor and or surrogate. And this year from January to August we've done 787, of which 68% were egg donor and or surrogate. So we've done this. This is what we do. Okay. No problem. Welcome. So we are part of GPAP. We offer 1 pro bono egg donor surrogate cycle per year. And for those who do qualify, we offer 25% off scholarship discount. If you choose not to go through GPAP, we offer a Success Guarantee Program. And this program is a guarantee of live birth. And I had somebody come up to me, and he was right. And he said, live birth sounds so scary. So what I should say is we guarantee you a baby to take home, okay? So, and if your surrogate, after using all the embryos you've created, does not give you a baby to take home, and the baby has to be alive for 72 hours, so 3 days, okay? We give you 100% of the cycle fees you've paid our facility. We can't reimburse you the fee you've paid the surrogacy agency, but at least we can reimburse you what you've paid us. This program is a commitment to our patients. Okay, because this is a gamble. Okay? Nobody can promise you that you're going to get a baby from this. But if you're willing to gamble and you're willing to trust us, we will gamble with you. We have very high success rates, but this program motivates us, right? It's a business decision. It motivates us to keep our success rates high. You can be part of this program whether you choose to do single or double embryo transfer. You can be part of this program whether you decide fresh embryo transfer, meaning you've got your egg donor and your surrogate lined up and you want that fresh transfer in the surrogate, no problem. Or let's say you don't have your surrogate lined up. And so you tell me, well, I don't know about my surrogate. Can we freeze the embryos, but can I still do the program? Yes. Okay, so whether it's a fresh or frozen embryo transfer for that first transfer, you're part of the program. Whether you choose to do pre-implantation genetic screening, PGS or not, you can still be part of the program. Apex MD. Apex MD is a company located in San Diego, and we're the only fertility center they are willing to work with. They create these loans and they hold these loans, and their company, they made themselves strictly for fertility services. Okay, so you guys can, because you're our patients, you can apply for that loan if needed. So egg donor, we do have our own in-house egg donor agency. But we also work with outside agencies. And the honest truth is we don't care. What I want you to be excited about your donor. I don't want you to feel like, well, the egg donor selection's okay, I'll settle for her. I want you to like her. And we won't be offended if you say to me, I actually don't like your selection of egg donors. I'm going to go with that other agency. We're fully supportive, and that can still be part of Success Guarantee Program, even though you use an outside egg donor agency. Why? Because we will medically screen her. And if we say to you, hey, that egg donor from agency XYZ looks great, but you don't get a baby from that, we're the ones who told you she looked great, right? And you gambled on her. Okay, so you don't have to use our in-house egg donor agency to be part of Success Guarantee. The advantages of using our in-house egg donor are twofold. Number one, we medically screen all our egg donors. So when they hit our website, and this is our website, and you don't have to pay to look at our donors, you can see their pictures and everything. We medically screen them before they hit that website. So we screen this many donors, and only this much actually make it to our website. Two, there is no agency fee because we're your physicians. Okay? But again, it's not better or worse. It's whatever is most appropriate for you. Welcome, guys. No problem. Surrogates, we do not have our own surrogates. So if you come to our office, you will have to work with a surrogacy agency. We do not have special relationships with certain agencies. We do not get kickbacks. We are open to working with all surrogacy agencies. PGS, pre-implantation genetic screening. Okay, so just quickly, what is PGS? Because I think people get this confused a lot. So PGS is where you look at the embryos and you just count the number of chromosomes. So most of us will have 46 chromosomes. That's what the majority of people have, okay? So it counts how many copies of chromosome 1 are there? There should be 2. How many copies of chromosome 2? There should be 2. How many copies of chromosome 3? There should be 2. On and on and on until 23 chromosomes. All in double copies is a total of 46, okay? Down syndrome is where chromosome number 21 is in 3 copies. 3 copies of chromosome 1 is not compatible with life, and usually your surrogate won't get pregnant or will have a miscarriage. Do not confuse this with a genetically normal child. Okay? So you can have chromosomes, but embedded inside the chromosomes is the DNA. Your hair color, your eye color, are you a carrier for cystic fibrosis? Right? Are you a carrier for Huntington's disease? That's embedded in the chromosomes. You don't know the genetic mutation by doing PGS. That is PGD, pre-implantation genetic diagnosis. So let's say you came to me and you said, you know, I'm a carrier for cystic fibrosis, and I don't want my child to be a carrier. Even the carriers usually, not always, but usually are not affected. We would then do PGD, look for that genetic mutation in your embryo. Okay? That's pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, not the same as screening where you just count chromosome number. But in PGS, you also, chromosome 23 are X and Y chromosomes. You also know the gender of your embryo. So you may say, well, I don't have a gender preference. Totally fine. Okay? But what if you do? Well, what if you already have a boy at home and you would really love to have a girl for that second experience? Okay, that's another reason to be doing PGS. It lowers your miscarriage rates. And we are one of the few centers in the country where we allow you to do PGS with a fresh embryo transfer into your surrogate, if that's what you desire. Most centers can't because they take, the turnaround time is about 4 to 7 days to get PGS results. But because of our large volume, we're able to ask the lab we work with to please do us a favor, and they will work through the night to get us that PGS result, and we get it within 24 hours, and we still do a fresh transfer. HIV, and I know people assume it, but I just want to state it, that we provide unbiased care. HIV is a chronic condition now. Okay, many people live many years, a healthy life being HIV positive, and we absolutely take care of men who are HIV positive. It does not matter to us, and we follow the ASARM guidelines for sperm prep. We have 5 doctors in our practice, so I think it's a good number. It's not too small, but it's also not too big. So here are the advantages and the disadvantages. So do you batch or do you not batch? Like, what does that mean to batch? So let's say you said, all right, I'm going to go to this clinic to do IVF, and the clinic says, great. So your egg donor and your surrogate are going to cycle at this specific week. And you decide, oh, but I'd love to be there, but I've got a business trip, and I can't move that business trip. If you go to a center where they batch and only batch, you're sort of out of luck. Then you have to move your whole treatment for the next batch session. I do batch because, like, for example, I'm here in New York now, so my patients know that if your transfer, your retrieval, which falls, we do it 7 days a week, falls when I'm in New York, I'm not going to be there because I try to be there for all egg donor surrogate retrievals and transfers. But I tell them, but that's okay. If you're comfortable with one of the other doctors doing the procedure, you don't have to follow my batch schedule. Then don't batch. Do what's more convenient for your schedule. Okay? We have, of the 5 doctors, we all speak English, but we also speak Spanish, Korean, and Chinese. Okay? So I speak Spanish and Korean, and then Sandy speaks Chinese. And that's why we have a large international patient population as well. We work as a team. Every intended parent has a physician, a nurse, and a finance person dedicated to them. And because we have a large international patient pool, we also have translators on site. And you will have direct contact with each of your team members. So that's important. So let's say you have a question. I don't want you to call San Diego Fertility Center and then the receptionist says, San Diego Fertility Center, this is Frankie, how can I help you? That shouldn't be. Shoot us an email, say, hey, Megan, I know you said something. What was this again? right? So boom, instantaneous answer. You don't have to went on phone and listen to our recording. Okay. Embryo donation. We have an embryo donation program. So what is that? So let's say you created a bunch of embryos and you have a bunch of leftover. You've got 2 kids and you guys decided, you know, we don't want any more kids, but we have all these amazing embryos. We don't want them destroyed. We would love it if somebody else could use them. So you can donate it to us. Or let's just say that this is an expensive process and you guys decide, I would love to do this, but I need a less expensive way of doing it. You can get on, we have a waiting list for this. You can get on our waiting list and use somebody else's embryos that they created. You won't be able to meet them, but I can give you the profile, their medical profile. And then, so you become, your surrogate becomes a recipient for these donated embryos. So it works both ways. But in that case, of course, if you're going to be the recipient, it's not your sperm, right, that was used to create the embryo. We also do something called compassionate embryo transfer, and this is a pretty unique program that we have. So let's say you have all these extra embryos, and you decide, I don't really want to donate it to anybody, but I don't want them destroyed. Oh my gosh, what should I do with them? So we can do a transfer into a surrogate, but not at a time when we know she's going to get pregnant, but go through the process of transferring, just so that you have peace of mind that your embryos were used but never resulted in a pregnancy. Okay? Yeah, so we have some patients, and they tend to be very religious, who don't feel comfortable giving them to somebody else and don't feel comfortable destroying them, but feel that it has to undergo a transfer process. And that's what we do. And we charge a reduced cost because we don't really do the strict monitoring on the surrogate. And a novel concept, right? Something different. We have an in-house embryology director. Okay? And this is very important. The practice is owned by the physicians. We don't have a different, bigger entity owning us. Our embryology director is in our lab 7 days a week. Okay? We own our lab. Some centers don't own their lab. We own our lab. Our director is in-house. And that's really important because you do enough cycles, unexpected things happen, and he's always there. He can come in. We can text him. He's always accessible. And finally, it's San Diego. So I'm actually a New Yorker. I've lived here over 30-some odd years. I only moved to San Diego in 2012. I very much miss New York. I mean, there's no city like it, right? And I had no kids when I was here. But San Diego is a much easier and cheaper place to raise your kids. Right? So I do like it. There's a lot more space. But it's a beautiful place. But if you decided, let's say you don't live in San Diego, because most of our patients don't, so you have 2 choices. You can say, I don't want to go to San Diego, so we will tell you what lab here to go to drop off your sperm, do your FDA testing, and they will ship it to us. So you never have to set foot in San Diego. But the cost of shipping is the same as the cost of a plane ticket to San Diego. So we encourage you, come see us. Come meet your team in person. You will meet your doctor, your nurse, the finance. You will meet the embryologists. And on that 1-day visit, we will collect your sperm and we'll do your FDA testing. So it's just 1 day. And some guys fly in the morning and fly out at night because they're just so busy. We try to make it super easy for you guys, but most guys will spend many more days there because it's just a great city. So this is just a sum of what makes us special. And this is actually my son, and this was last Sunday. Okay, literally playing on the beach as the sun was setting. Yeah. Questions? Anything? I know it's overwhelming, but thank you for coming to this session. Yeah.
So what's the process if you have either or and a donor and surrogate for the harvesting and then also for the transfer?
Yep.
Versus using someone through you.
So the donor, is it through an agency or somebody you know?
Potentially someone we know.
Okay, and same with the surrogate, somebody you know?
Yeah, potentially both.
Okay, yeah. So what happens first is I'd like to meet with them, especially if it's somebody you know, personally. It could be through Skype, but I don't want you on that Skype call. And here's why. Let's say they say to you, God, you know what? We would love to either donate for you or be your surrogate. But then once I explain the process to them, right, what if they decide, this is a little scary. I don't know if I want to do this anymore. But they don't have the courage to tell you that. So that's where my job is. I will call you and I will say, listen, I spoke to Sally. She seems great, but she's not a great donor for you. There are medical reasons that have come up, and I don't think she's suitable for you. So in that sense, I protect her. And I should, because you don't want somebody doing this if they're only half-heartedly doing this for you. Well, what if it's the reverse, right? Sally says, I really want to donate for you. And I look at her medical records and I realize, wow, Sally's not a great donor. I mean, I know she's 25, but her blood tests aren't great, or there's something in her medical history that I don't think is great. I'm going to tell you, listen, I know you love Sally, but I don't think you should use her. Okay?
And if you do love Sally.
Okay, yeah, okay. So then,
how long does Sally have to be?
All right, thank you. Oh, super easy. So if Sally doesn't live, let's say she probably won't live in San Diego. So one time we do prefer that she fly to San Diego. We like to put our eyes on them and do a full physical. But if you insist, no, we will waive it. Okay? Then Sally starts everything wherever she lives. Let's say she's in New York. She will do her baseline ultrasound in New York. She will do all blood testing in New York. And what we do is if we know you're doing outside monitoring, we lower our fees so that you can use that money to pay that clinic. That clinic then faxes us the results, but we manage Sally. So we'll tell Sally, okay, we got your results. This is what you can do with your medication. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. So then Sally continues taking her IVF drugs in the clinic in New York. And then when she's close to retrieval, which is usually after 7 days, Sally then flies to San Diego. And usually she'll get to us 1 to 2 days before her scheduled egg retrieval. Okay, because in case something happens with the plane. And then we do the retrieval. The next day, Sally can get back on the plane and go back. So we really try to minimize the stay. Same with the surrogates. Surrogates fly to a center the day before the transfer. We do the transfer. Next day, she's on the plane to go back home.
Okay. And what's the gap in between that?
Up to you.
It's Sally, and let's say it's like Hallie.
Up to you. So if you say to me, listen, I've got everybody going, we will synchronize both of them. Okay? And so if you're not doing PGS, then we retrieve this day. The next day, the embryo is 1 day old. When the embryo is 5 days old, so 5 days later, we do the transfer. If you are doing PGS, we need 24 hours to get that report. 6 days later, we do the transfer. If Hallie's not ready, Sally comes in, we retrieve her eggs, create the embryos, we freeze, and you tell me when Hallie's ready, and then so she does it on her own, so she doesn't need synchronization.
Is there any statistically more favorable, like without the freezing? If you freeze it, the statistics go down for the freezing?
And so I get that question a lot. So many people think that if you freeze, it lowers your success rate. And the answer is it depends. So if you do a freeze-all cycle, so I created your embryos, I've transferred nothing, I froze them all, it's the same success rate, and then we transfer, it's the same success rate as a fresh, because the cream of the crop wasn't transferred, right? So it's not the freezing process that affects it. If you freeze well and you thaw well, it's what you have left. Versus Hallie came in for a transfer, I transferred you cream of the crop, and Hallie's not pregnant. So now the next embryo, let's say the quality is good, it's not amazing, 15% lower success rate, because I've already used the cream of the crop. So it's not the freezing per se, it's what you have left. But mostly with egg donor surrogacy, you often have many top-tier embryos. So most of our patients do get pregnant, if not in the first and the second treatment cycle.